right. And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fourth Down Fiasco. We're doing kind of a bonus episode right now. And with us is the Helvetic Mercenaries Quarterback, Carlton Aiken Jr. We're super excited to have you, Carlton. Say hello to the people real quick.
What's up, guys? Appreciate you guys for having me on the show. Really excited to talk to you guys today.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you as well. And yeah, this is just something that we reached out to Carlton, and he was very responsive. And as a Barcelona fan, it was pretty impressive to watch you. Like, I mean, you were carrying that game, brother. And I was cussing so much at you. I'm gonna be completely honest. The entire game, I was just like, God, who is this guy? You were just an absolute animal out there. So excited that we get to bring you on. And yeah, we can just kind of go ahead and dive into some of these questions. Kind of curious about your journey to the ELF, just kind of a little bit about you as a whole, how you first fell in love with football. You can talk about high school, college. I know that you went to Pace University. Yeah, just kind of take us through your football journey and how you got to the ELF.
Yeah, I'll give you the spark notes on it. I don't want to be here. I can't give you a whole entire story about college, but I'm originally from Philadelphia. Was born and raised in Philadelphia. Sophomore year, moved to Paulsboro High School in New Jersey. Had a great career in high school, all state, and won a state championship. Was blessed enough to get multiple Division I scholarships out of high school. Ended up going to Central Connecticut State my freshman year. Battled QB battle with Jake Dolagala, who's actually in the CFL right now. So it was a really talented quarterback room. Ended up transferring, couldn't beat him out, along with other mental health stuff. So I ended up transferring to Lackawanna Junior College. So did a year at Lackawanna Junior College, and then after that, chose to go and play at Pace University, who no one's ever heard of, not a very well-known school, very small Division II school. I had a lot of bigger Division II and smaller FCS offers. But I took a visit to Indiana University of Pennsylvania, which was the number 4 team in the nation in 2017. And they had a quarterback by the name of Lenny Williams. And everyone talked about Lenny like he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. He was a great guy. But the way that everyone talked about Lenny Williams, carrying the team, I wanted that for myself. So I was like, I'd rather go somewhere where, I can build up, from the ground up. And that's pretty much how, I kind of model my career and decisions I make. Like, I'd rather get it out the mud on my own rather than, taking the easy way. Like, I'd rather put the team on my back, I guess you could say. So went to Pace, had a great career there. I think they won 7 games in 20 years. And then my first year there, we went 7-3. So we matched that. And then 6-4. And COVID happened, was player of the year in 2019. Then COVID happened, so I ended up hitting the transfer portal because I had graduated, and then went to Gardner-Webb, played there for a semester, met my wife at Gardner-Webb, so that was obviously a blessing. Yep. And then, everything happens for a reason. And then the coaches ended up leaving. Some coaches ended up leaving, so I ended up transferring back to Pace and finished my career there, and was the MVP of the league in 2022. So that's a quick version of high school and college.
I'm glad you mentioned the MVP because I was waiting for you. And if you weren't going to mention it, I was going to mention it.
Yeah. But great. I love Pace. My little brother actually goes to Pace right now. He plays DN. So I had a great career at Pace. First player to get Offensive Player of the Year, first player to be All-American, MVP, the whole entire 9 yards. So really changed the program up there, along with a bunch of other great guys. Really a nice thing about that.
Nice. And how did you find out about the ELF? Who sought who out? Did you talk to them? They talked to you first?
So I didn't come to the ELF right after college. So my journey to Europe, after I did the whole entire NFL pro day and met with teams and that whole fiasco, had an agent and, we're talking to teams doing I did 2 pro days, one at Temple, one at Army, talked to 16 teams. And I thought I was going to get a UDFA or at least a rookie minicamp, really with the Ravens or the Jets. Ended up not happening, not working out. So after that, I pretty much made a Euro Players account and I took the first contract that was offered. So one of my best friends is Matt Vital. I know this is you guys like first year covering, I think, the ELF. So
yes,
I don't know if you guys know Matt Vital, but he was the Wrocław Panthers quarterback last year. Really, really good guy. Literally my very first football friend since 8th grade. Like we have been best friends since 8th grade. So he was the Panthers quarterback last year, and I knew he played in Europe. So I reached out to him, and I was like, all right, tell me about Europe. Like, what do I need to do? What do I need to, like, what team, where should I go? So he was like, make a Euro players, take this contract. He was like, let me know about numbers and what I should ask for, because I knew nothing. Like the Vienna Vikings actually messaged me my senior year of college, and I never replied.
Oh.
There was so many. When I tell you, like, there was, because I knew nothing about. No one really knows about like the ELF or anything like that.
No,
like,
yeah,
right.
So like I go back and I'm looking at all these messages, like Coach Calais, it's like his teams that I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, what was I doing? So shout out to Matt. He got me introduced to Europe. So I went to go play in Poland for the Silesia Rebels. Had a great, season there. I had like 28 touchdowns in like 4 games. Went to the championship and great. And then right after that, that's when Barcelona. The same weekend, I think I played in the championship in Poland. Connor Miller, the quarterback for Barcelona last year, got placed on IR. He got hurt. So I flew back to New York, went to go get my wedding ring because I was going to propose to my fiance. Went to get the wedding ring. I was still in New York. Barcelona called me and said, hey, are you still in Poland? I was like, no, I'm back in the States. And they were like, all right, don't leave New York. Like, we're going to put you back on the flight. So got the wedding ring. Got back on the flight the next day, and I was in Barcelona.
That's crazy.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. What a wild ride, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like the longest 48 hours of my life. Like it was hectic.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. But so basically about off the field life and professional life, balancing a professional sports life can be a little demanding, as you obviously know. How do you manage this time? And what do you do in your downtime? Like, what do you enjoy doing?
So I just embarked on I keep talking about it, but I'm so freaking excited. I got my this is not my real ring, but my replacement ring right here. But just got married. So I'm embarking on a new chapter in my life. Really excited about that. So it's kind of hard right now, especially being like newlywed, not being able to be with my wife. So that sucks. So like, we just got a dog too, like a little puppy. Oh. That was my wedding gift for her. So like I get like picture all the time, and I'm sitting here like, Jesus, like, oh my God. Yeah. But so it's a struggle. But like my downtime, like this, like Switzerland is like the type of scenery I like. So like mountains and lake. Like I'm a huge like lake guy, or like body of water. So just being able to like go and just sit and just relax and just meditate out there. I love doing stuff like that, like taking walks with my wife, like around, like, go hiking or something like that. I love doing things like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I bet it's probably gorgeous out there. Like you're like in the Alps, right?
Oh yeah. Like we drive to practice. Like it's not the Alps. Like our practice field has mountains in the background. There's mountains everywhere, but it's not the Alps. But on our way to practice, you can see the Alps in the background. Like it's breathtaking. Like my dad came out. Crazy. My dad actually flew out here for the first game, which was crazy. But he was like, I don't want to leave. Like, this is insane. I was like, bro, this is insane for me too.
Yeah, I did not want to leave Vienna when I was out there.
Yeah. Did you play?
No, I just lived in Vienna for a couple months. No.
Oh, nice.
My football skills was about 4th grade football. That was as far as I played.
There you go. Some people don't have that.
I was going to say, if you see Danny stand up, you'll realize that he was not built to be a football player. He played baseball, though. I'll give him credit on that. He is.
I have the height, not the weight.
Pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, left-handed pitcher, first base.
What high school did you go to in Cincinnati?
Oak Hills High School.
Okay. My wife went to Walnut Hills.
Okay, yeah, sweet. That's still funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got the next one for you. So what would you say is the biggest difference between playing in Europe compared to playing back in the States?
That's a good one. I would definitely say O-line. That's obviously a struggle for every team, except for unless you're like Reign or Stuttgart or something like that. But definitely O-line. And then if you're on a team, if you're on a team in like Germany, they've had football for so long, so their like skill positions are actually pretty good. I haven't got to play with like those type of players, but just playing against them, I'm like, oh, these guys can definitely play in the States. I was able to play D1 and D2, so I got to see like different levels. I would say it's definitely like in between that. Like it's a little bit, the competition is a little bit better than D2. I was FCS in a pretty good conference, so a little less than that, but somewhere in there. The biggest difference is just like the supporting cast. Like if you're on a team like, the Rainfire, opposed to a team like, my team, I don't want to say a smaller market team. It's just a big difference. So that makes it a little bit harder. Like Jadrian Clark doesn't have to worry about the things that I have to worry about sitting in the pocket and vice versa. So that's like the biggest difference. Like me and a couple other quarterbacks in the league always talk about this all the time. Like, it's just the things we have to worry about, other quarterbacks don't have to worry about. And that's just like the hardest thing I guess you have to adapt to.
Yeah, location has a big play in O-line depth, or I guess athleticism anyways.
Yeah, I'm learning that like as like my second year. This is really like my first year. I only played 2 games last year in Barcelona. Everyone's like, oh, he's not, like I still feel like a rookie. Like I'm still learning a lot of stuff. But like that's what I realized. Like if you're the supporting cast is so huge. Like because the e-import whole situation, like only getting six e-imports and stuff like that. Like that's such a huge thing, especially if you don't have to worry about, going getting a safety or going to go get spending an e-tag on a receiver. If you can just bolster up your O-line and pick, from each different country, it's crazy.
From what you heard, has that kind of influenced the way like quarterbacks pick their teams in the ELF? Is there like a big preference to go to Germany just because there's a bigger O-line talent?
I don't know. I don't know how other quarterbacks like, choose their teams or anything like that, or quarterbacks like who chose, to come to the ELF or not over, different things. I was actually just talking to the Potsdam Royals quarterback over the weekend. And he's like, last year he was the MVP. And then this year, again, he's having like an MVP season. I was like, why didn't you come to the ELF? And he was like, bro, I just don't want to leave. Like, I don't want to leave GFL 1. And I was like, I get it. I was like, I thought you were going to come up to the ELF. I'm sure like somebody would have, a great organization would have taken him. But I'm not sure. I know my situation choosing, Helvetic over Barcelona was a little different from everybody else. That's the only thing I can attest to. But, I'm not sure.
Before I ask the next question, I am just curious because something that we've talked about on this pod is just the surprising level of physicality with some of the hits that we've seen. There's definitely been some hits that I've seen some guys make where I'm like, even though it's full shoulder, that still would have been a flag somehow in the NFL. Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about just the physicality level of the ELF?
So I always say, like, I don't think it's fair, like the D lines going against the O lines, because like the D lines have a little bit more advantage because you don't have to be as skilled. And I'm not knocking D linemen, like obviously you have to be skilled, but you don't. O line is hard. It's a hard position to play. So these guys who had never really played football their whole entire lives, like they started playing football like 5 years ago. They're going against a freak. Like when I played Paris last year, they had dudes who were like 6'5", who ran like a 4.5, who were just freaks. And I'm like, of course you're going to beat my right tackle. He just started playing football like 3 years ago. So look at like, 6'4", 260 is 6'4", 260 anywhere, running at you really fast. So like it gets really physical. Like these are grown men. I would say that's another difference between college and here. Like these are grown men at the end of the day. Like it's grown men strength. Like when they hit you, you're going to feel it. Like there was a couple hits this past weekend where I'm like, all right, like my jaw's hurting a little bit. Like, I can feel. There was one hit versus Barcelona, their DM, who's the American. He got me right up under my chin, and I was like, yeah, that was probably one of the hardest hits I've ever taken. So it gets real physical. It gets really, really physical for sure.
Yeah, we saw you take a couple hits on Saturday, just a couple.
Yeah,
just a couple. Yeah.
I'm a big guy though. I'm a big guy. I could take some. We're working on it though. We're working on it.
There we go. So excuse me, how has living and playing football in Europe kind of like enriched your life off the field? You know, I know that you mentioned that you did get married recently. Again, congratulations. But you know, you'd mentioned like hiking out in Switzerland with your now wife. You know, like kind of take us through that. How is Europe like changed your world? Are there any cultural experiences or traditions that you've embraced since moving? You know, just kind of take us through that.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is probably just like the first thing I noticed here is everyone uses public transportation, everyone walks, everyone, you know, it's such a like it's such a total different like culture shock. Like you're over here, everyone lives in apartments. Like I'm used to like, you know, suburbs and houses and single homes. Everyone lives in apartments. Like when I was in Barcelona, especially in like Poland too. When I was in Barcelona, like just that was like I loved it. Like it was great. Beautiful city. And my fiance, she actually got to go out there. She hasn't come to Switzerland yet, but just being in Barcelona with her, like walking to the beach, which is like 2 minutes away, like all that was great. Just like the food too, I guess that's like another big difference. Everything tastes like super, super like like fresh. So that's really nice. But yeah, like the public transportation is like super, super nice here. Just because that's like a lot of people's main, you know, transportation method. So that was like one of the biggest things.
No, I mean it's very convenient. I've been to Europe a couple of times with my wife, and it's so convenient to get around. And like, you know, hey, you know, we're in Belgium and we want to go take a 2-hour train to Amsterdam, and it's not a big deal. It's super easy, and the train, the way that they translate all the different languages onto this, you know, different stops in the trains and stuff, it makes it super easy.
Yeah,
to get around.
Yeah, and the food doesn't want to make you want to die afterwards, like you said.
Dude, I went to like a Popeyes the other day because I didn't even know they had Popeyes in Europe. So we were sitting there looking up, me and AB, we were sitting up there looking for something to eat. And we were like, is that Popeyes? Like, no way. So we hopped on the train, went to Popeyes, and this Popeyes had the best chicken tenders. Like it doesn't even taste the same. It doesn't even taste the same. It tastes like totally different. They had the best chicken tenders I ever had in my life. Like I got chicken tenders, chicken wings, chicken sandwich. I was like, this is insane.
Well, yeah, it's because they're not putting all the preservatives and stuff that they have in our food over here that, you know, you can leave a McDonald's burger out for 3 weeks and it never changes. You do that in Europe, it'll mold like, you know, within a day as it's supposed to, you know?
Yeah. You're eating real food, not over here.
No, for sure.
So how do you connect with the fans in Europe compared to like the college life here, the American fans? Like any memorable moments, interactions with the European fans?
Yeah, I would say I was talking to AB about this because this is his first year in Europe. So like the biggest difference, because we came from smaller schools, so it wasn't like fans of the program. It was like parents and like family members. So it was a little bit different. Like, so that was like a really big like shock for me, especially because I went to Barcelona pretty much right away after Poland. But like Barcelona's fan base is incredible. Like it's not a lot, but they are incredible. I mean, yeah, you're at Barcelona. They are really, really, really good. So like that was my first experience with like the fans over here, and like the dragon walk that they have where they're like playing like the music as you're walking down. I'm like, this is great. And they're actually fans of the team. So it's like they're like diehard fans too. So you had like see the people's like face painting and stuff like that. So that was cool. And then my first game was against Stuttgart. And their home stadium is like crazy. It's amazing. Their fans get really, really loud as well. So that was like I had a visor on, and it was like the first time I had to take my visor off because my O-line couldn't hear me. Like I wasn't projecting loud enough. So it was like the third game guy. So, but everyone is like nice. It's not like I still get messages from like the Barcelona fans. They're like, hey, like great job this weekend. Like I know whatever happened, like you left, but you know, we're still rooting for you. And I'm like, I appreciate it. Or you go to Stuttgart and like the fans are right there next to the field and they're like, hey, like, can I get an autograph after the game? And like, so like, it's just, you know, everyone's just a fan of football here. It's no like, you know, like they want you to do bad or anything like that. You know, it's all love.
So kind of going with that, how do you see the league growing in the next couple of years? Do you think that there's a big audience for the Elf that hasn't been reached yet?
Yeah, I think there's a huge audience here just because like if you look at the soccer games or if you look at like the basketball games that they have over here, like they're like insane. So the league needs to, they're trying, but tap into that fan base where we can keep getting like these, like the Wroclaw crowd where it was like 18,000 or something like that. And obviously the championship games get like, 50 or whatever thousand fans. I can't talk, highly enough about the league, especially because like it's growing. So not a lot of people knew about it. Like how I introduced it to people is like, it's the old NFL Europe. Especially because I played for Barcelona last year, and so that was an original NFL Europe team, and I was like, it's obviously different now, but they're just trying to make it a European thing instead of like everybody's American just coming over here and playing football. But I see the sky's the limit for that. I think it ran really really well, especially because we have so many teams in the league. It's not like the the UFL where it's only like I don't know 8 teams in the UFL or something like that.
Yeah, it's 8.
So it's hard. Like one thing I'm realizing just seeing different leagues and stuff like that, it's hard to have a bunch of different teams in a league. Like, that's how you can tell you're really successful. And there's, obviously rumors that there's more teams going to be joining the league in the next couple of years. So, I see like the sky's the limit for the league. And I enjoy it. I love playing. I think, from the top down, just the marketing, the fan bases, like everything, it feels like, a high level of football. It's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you had mentioned something whenever you were talking about interactions with fans and how, the folks in Barcelona, basically no hard feelings. I am curious, why did you switch from Barcelona to Helvetic? Like, what was kind of the story behind all that?
Yeah. So it was a couple of different things. And there is no love lost with Barcelona. I talked about it on the athletes forum with my guy, but there is no love lost with like I love Barcelona. I love the people there. I love my teammates. Like after the game, I talked to the Brugnani brothers for like an hour. We were just sitting before the game. We were sitting there talking for like an hour. So they're like proud of me. I'm proud of them. So the Barcelona situation, obviously, I came in because Connor Miller got hurt, and obviously you never want that. So I came in just to get my foot in the door. He came back off of IR. We were battling for who was going to like finish out the rest of the season. They ended up going with Connor. I understand. I was like, I would hate to have a guy, lose his job over, an injury or anything like that. Like I came there, did what I needed to do, and boom. So actually, I can't say what happened because I don't want them to get in trouble for things last year. But they showed a lot of love. I would say they showed a lot of love for me, and things like that. So after the season, no one really reached out to me. And I think I signed my first contract too fast after the season. So I originally signed my contract to go back to Poland because I thought like no one was going to reach out. But I signed so early. I signed in like September or something like that. Like people were still playing, and I was like, I'm going back to Poland. I was like, this is taking too long. So like a week after I signed, Barcelona reached back out. They offered me a contract, and then a couple days or maybe a week or so later, Helvetic reached out and they offered me a contract. And they had just got Barcelona had just got the new head coach, Coach Shelton. He called me. This is around. It was actually later. It wasn't right after I signed to Poland. This is on Thanksgiving. He called me on Thanksgiving night, and he was saying like, "Hey, we got this receiver." Talking about Amani. He's coming. Like we're all in. Boom, 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 boom. And I was like, "Sounds great." Helvetic reached out, John Falk, and they offered me a contract. And I was like, "Hey, Helvetic gave me X amount. This is what I would like to come back, this, that, and the third." And Helvetic offered me a really, 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 really good deal. And I didn't think anyone was really going to be able to beat it. Barcelona really couldn't beat it, and I understand. And then just besides the numbers, like I mentioned in college, I wanted to go somewhere where it's like my thing. Like I want to go somewhere where I can grow, I can build, I can, this is my show. I can run it. This is my team. Like I'm the captain of this team. I'm dying and living by the product that we put on the field. Like I'm not going anywhere. This is my team. So I really got that feeling from talking to Helvetic because they were still the guards at the time. got that feeling from them. I could tell that they were like looking for like a long-term type quarterback, and really want to build, just build this program and this organization and for the next couple of years. And that was the feel that I got for them. So I was like, it worked out because, they were new. Last year was like their first year, but now obviously being their first year in the league, being the Mercenaries, it's like a win-win for me. Like we can build together. And that's my biggest thing. Like, I don't want to go anywhere where I'm like in someone's shadow. It kind of was like that in Barcelona, like just in the back of my mind, like I'm a competitor. So I'm like, it's Connor Miller's thing. It is what it is. Even though they did, reach out to me and say they wanted me to come back. Jason Robinson, the owner, and I appreciate it. But it's just, obviously numbers at the end of the day played a huge part in it as well. But just wanted my own thing, and Helvetic, gave me the keys to the car, and I'm steering this ship, and it's it's a great feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how has that transition been? Are you starting to feel like it is your team, and you feel like you're the captain of the ship at this point?
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%. Just conversations, that I don't think I would be able to have if I was just another player on the team, just with like ownership and the GM and like Matt and Chris and even Coach Gunn. Like I was a part of so when Coach Chow stepped down, I was a part of like the hiring committee, and there was a couple other coaches like that I was trying to get in there. Like I was trying to get Art Browse because he's the coach in Italy, and I had met Coach Browse in like October doing like this little workout in Cincinnati actually, and I was like, I know a guy. I was like, we can get Art Browse right here too, because I was like, I'm a huge RG3 fan. Like that's my favorite quarterback of all time. Like I grew my hair out because of him, so I was like, we can get Art Browse. We can get this thing going. So we were like this close. We were this close to hiring Art Browse, but. So certain things like that, just that whole entire, this was like months ago too. So just those like conversations, I really started to feel like, all right, they want to build around me. And then Coach Gunn and his offense coming in, it like fits me like a glove, probably more so than Coach Chow's offense would have. And I'm like, all right, this is even better. And it's just like the import situation, like they're asking me who I want to bring in, who I want to build around me. And it just talks about like, obviously we're still in the middle of season now, but just talks about next season and how we're trying to move forward and things like that. So it's definitely my team, 100%. Me, John, Tim, and AB, we're all the captains. But definitely, it's obviously the Swiss team. So John, and that's like his. John is. This is supposedly John's last year, so we'll see John Polk. But next year he'll probably step up into some front office role or DC or something. But definitely, feel secure here, 1,000%.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How was the transition from the Guards to the Mercenaries?
It was rough because so I guess I could probably talk about it now. So we originally had an owner named Jörg or whatever. He had gotten into some trouble. I don't know if I can talk about that, but he got into some trouble and had to do what he needed to do. We needed to find a new team, a new name for the team. Like so the Swiss franchise was still like the franchise. We got new ownership and things like that. Like a group of people pretty much took over. Like Matt and Chris are names that the ELF knows. So Matt and Chris took over as the owners, as well as a couple other people. And but for like that first part when I signed to the Guards, like it was cool for like the first month, and then everything went dead for like a month. So we were like, are we going to play? Like, what's going on? Like, am I getting flights? Am I getting my visa? Like, what the heck is going on right now? So I thought for like about a month before the season started, like I thought like it was going to be over. Like I thought it was I was about to call Poland, like, hey, can you guys take me back? But yeah, it was a little nerve wracking. And then when I finally got out here, I was like, okay, things are starting to look up. It's getting brighter. And then now everything is like smooth sailing. But I think we're just on the field now. We're starting to get like the ramifications of everything that happened because we started preseason late. Like everyone was already over here. We started like 3 weeks later, and I'm not trying to make excuses or anything like that, but had a late start to camp. Like we started like, first week of May, which is, we played a game a couple weeks later. So, that sucks. And, we're still trying, it feels like, we're still in that like camp mode. Like we're getting out of it now just because like it's brand new head coach, like a week before we got to camp, new ownership, new things like that. So we're just trying to figure it out right now. And I think we're starting to get our identity. Obviously last week was really, really rough. We can talk about it, but yeah, just, small things that you don't really notice. And now you're starting to notice like, all right, this played a way bigger part than I thought it did.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to, the discussions that you were having with coaches and things like that. Something that I am curious is like, how is y'all's approach to doing like film and stuff? Is it how they do it, at like the collegiate level where everybody sits in a room and you put it on the projector and you kind of go through it play by play, or like, what are the technological, like, is there a difference in technology between those things? Just what does film overall look like for y'all?
No, it's not. I wouldn't say like the film part, like watching film is any different. I'd say probably the biggest difference is because we're all kind of spread out throughout Europe. So it's not like we're sitting down in a room watching together. We're just watching on like, Huddle or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that can have its challenges. Like some people have work, can't get off work, or some people have to miss a meeting because, whatever. Everyone here has to be in the military as well. So, some people have to do military duties and stuff like that. So,
wait, so sorry, y'all have guys who like, do they like come in on the train for like home games and practices and stuff and then like go back to where they're at? Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
that's crazy. Okay.
Like where we practice, I don't want to say where we practice at just in case we got any Bill Belichick's out there, but where we practice is like, I live up in the north. Some guys live like in the south, so we practice like right in the middle. So we all like, everyone comes from everywhere. Like some dudes, like there's a receiver, he has to leave a little bit early, like 10 minutes early from practice because he has to catch like the last train before he goes back home. And then guys with like jobs, like my center is a doctor. My left guard is like the IT guy.
That's crazy.
Like it's Switzerland at the end of the day. So everyone here is bougie. Like the things we were complaining about in Barcelona are not the same things we're complaining about here. Like our complaints here are like, where's my flat screen TV? Like I don't have enough pillows on my bed. Like in Barcelona, we were like, all right, where are we eating today? So like it's just a lot of, it's Switzerland, so it's really bougie. My fault. What was your question again?
I was just asking about film and what it looked like.
Oh yeah. I'll say the other thing too is just like Switzerland itself is hard to get. Like you have to have like the what the heck is it called? You have to have the visa, and it's really hard to get a visa here. So it's really hard to get other American coaches here, opposed to like other countries like Poland, like Wrocław. I keep saying Poland. Wrocław, where they have like 10 American coaches or something like that. So it's a lot easier for them to like, the head coach can be the head coach, the OC can be the OC, and then the assistants can handle all like the film breakdown and stuff like that. As opposed to here, obviously we don't have that luxury. Wrocław has, one of the biggest budgets in the ELF. And then, so they can afford to do those types of things. So a lot of stuff, heavy is the head that wears a crown. So, it's me doing a lot of breakdowns, me, handling a lot of like the film stuff, game planning with Coach Chow, which is great because I want to be a coach one day anyway. And it just helps me get a better understanding of the opponent we're going against each week. So I would definitely say like that's one of the biggest difference. Like in college, you have people, assigned to that. And then here it's just a little bit different, just from my perspective, from the teams that I played for in Barcelona last year as well.
Well, so you mentioned something. I didn't write this question down. I actually was just kind of thinking of it as you were talking about Switzerland and stuff, but how difficult it is to be an American, get a visa and work there and all those things. Yeah. I am curious, as someone who grew up, a little bit in Cincinnati and in Philly both, where it's much more diverse. What does that look like for you, my guy?
Yo, do you know what's crazy? So I lived in three different countries now. In Europe. So I first went to Poland and I was like, geez, like where are the black people at? Like this is insane.
I said the same thing when I moved up to Colorado. I was like, ain't no color nowhere.
I would walk down the street or like I would go out to like a club or something and people would really like like there's no like we
probably thought you were RG3 or something.
Probably. Oh my God, dude. I did last year when I first got to Europe, I was doing like TikTok a lot. And I was literally just looking at the pictures now, but we went to this concert, like long story short, we went to this concert called Juvenalia. It's like a huge like concert or music festival in Poland. And we were telling people like, hey, I'm a rapper from the United States. And like they let me get on stage. They let me like go up on stage and stuff. And it was like 15,000 people there. Like I have videos like of me on stage and stuff. Like it's crazy. So Poland is like, it was like no black people was out. They were looking like, oh my God, like, it's crazy. Spain obviously is like super diverse. Like it's a bunch of Spanish people and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. And then so surprisingly, I thought Switzerland was going to be like Poland, but it's not. There is a huge. It's a lot of diversity here. Like every ethnic background. Like there's black people here. There's Americans here. There's African people here. There's Asian people here. There's people from everywhere. And we're on the border of Germany and France. Like I can walk 5 minutes to Germany and I can walk 5 minutes to France. So I'm in Basel. So it's literally right there, like the northwest corner. So there's like a little melting pot right here. Like we're right on the Rhine River, which is great. There's actually there's the Rhine River here. So you know how it's OTR in Cincinnati. There's like there's actually the Rhine River here. So it's like we're going to.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, it's a lot of diversity in Switzerland, a lot more than I thought for sure.
Okay. I had the same experience whenever I went to Belgium. I was very surprised at how much diversity I saw there, but then it's same with like Amsterdam, but then I mean, there are definitely other places in Europe where you don't quite get that. So I was just curious. I didn't know that. I didn't know Switzerland came through with the brothers like that. You know,
I'm telling you, I was surprised. I was like, I got my hair cut from like right down the street because it's close to France, and France has like a huge black.
Yeah, I think they have the largest black population in Europe.
Exactly. So that's what it is. Like I went to like the barber shop, and I was like, what the heck? I was like, where am I right now? Like, what are you guys doing here? And I was like, oh, I'm from France. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, that's wild. But I'm definitely like the Eastern European countries are a lot less black people, or like just a lot less diversity for sure. Like
closer to Russia you get. Makes sense.
Yeah. Like I was right there in Poland. I was like, all right now. Like, I smells a little different over here. But, yeah, it was great though.
Oh my gosh.
So what about your kind of off-season workout? Like what's your typical regime? Like how do you make sure to stay in shape, things like that?
Yeah. So this was like my first college was a little bit different because it was routine. Like you got done spring ball and then you went into like that summer phase and then you knew like your body knew like, all right, it's July, it's August, like camp is right around the corner, you're getting ready to go. After college, it was like football all the way until like last October because I had to do like the All-Star games and like Florida and stuff like that. And then I was training for my pro day. And then like I didn't get to train, and I didn't have an off season last year where I was training for a football season. I had an off season where I was training for like a 40-yard dash. So like I didn't really feel like in football shape. I just felt like fast. So last off season was a little weird. This off season, and it was like my first time being like having like a pro season behind me. So I try to treat myself like a pro, like invest the money into my body a little bit. And like I paid attention crazy about what I ate, what I intook and stuff like that. And that was my first time really doing it. Cause like after the season, like I got up to like 230 or something like that. And my body fat percentage was terrible. So then I got with Proforce up in Milford, if you're familiar with that area, up in Milford. And they do a lot. They work with a lot of pitchers, like Brent Suter for the Cincinnati Reds. It's my guy actually. Like there's a bunch of
that's funny.
It's crazy, yeah. There's like a bunch of pro MLB players, a lot of overhead throwers. So my wife actually, because she's more familiar with the area than I am, she found Proforce, and she was like, "Oh, this is where like a lot of MLB players train and stuff like that." One NFL guy who plays for the Browns now, but I was like, "All right, like I'll go check it out." And I can't speak highly enough about Proforce. Like they literally took my game from here to like here, like. Every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we went in and we got after it. It was like, your typical, upper body, lower body, but they also did my speed and conditioning as well like overhead mobility and stuff like overhead shoulder mobility and stuff like that. But just from like the head down, just like core, shoulder, stuff that I never did before, just, different types of hip movements, things like that. So that really took my game to like the next level. So I did that pretty much from November until April. So I really got after it this off season, and I've definitely seen my body start to change. And That's why I can take more different hits now than I would have been able to last year. Like I feel like, I'm still at like 98% right now after 2 games into the season. So I still feel like, fairly brand new. And it just goes to how hard I worked in the off season. But, definitely Pro Force, like shout out to Pro Force. I hope we clip that so I can send it to him. I can't talk about
Pro Force, we would also like a sponsor Pro Force.
Yeah.
We can. Thank you for that.
Shout out to my guy Josh down there, Josh McDaniel. He got me right this off season, man, for sure.
That's awesome. So, speaking of your like actual in-game performance, I feel like we haven't really touched on a whole lot of like your in-game stuff yet. This past week with your game against the Seamen, take us through that massive opening drive throw by the goal line. I mean, that was an absolute just strike. I mean, and it looked like it was your first read. So, talk to us about the play call as much as you can with the Bill Belichick's of the world. And
yeah, no, you're good. So they were pretty much, what you see is what you're going to get type of team. So I knew, at least for the first half, I knew exactly like what was going to happen. What they like to do is like press their outside corner and then play like a cover 2 on the inside. So it's like cover 2, or you can lock it or invert. We called it in college or whatever. So I seen that's what the covers they had. They were pressed up on my outside receiver, my guy Milano. And then originally he was supposed to have like a sit route. So I seen it. I gave him the go check. So he took off, and I liked the matchup, even though he's like 5'7". Their corner was like 6'2". I'm like, I'm taking my guy all day. So I thought I overthrew him, but I ended up like underthrowing him a little bit. So I obviously got to get better in that part. But he made an incredible catch. Should have been a touchdown.
I was going to say, do you think that? I thought it was a touchdown.
It definitely was a touchdown. Me and Coach Gunn were like, we should have challenged it. We ended up scoring, but definitely it was a touchdown. And I got to give my guy Milano a touchdown. No Swiss receiver has scored yet for in the ELF period, but no Swiss receiver has scored yet. So that would have been the first one. He's from Switzerland, my guy Milano. So yeah, that was like the first drive, and it was bang, bang, bang. Had a pretty good game plan going through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Continuing on with that drive, what was the scoring play like? What were you afraid Signer was going to jump up and like tip that ball? Was it 17 that cut inside?
Oh yeah.
You had a little out route, in route.
So originally they had AB out at number 1, and he was going to run the slant. And then I seen they were a man, so I went to AB on the corner rather than Nicola. So I switched to him. I was like, hey, switch, like you run the corner, and he did. And I didn't think that he was going to jump up and get it. I thought the corner was, because that corner was tall as crap. But I thought the corner was, but it was a good ball. AB obviously made an incredible catch on the 3rd down, so it was huge for us. But yeah, it was great play call by Coach Gunn. Something we installed that week, and it worked out.
Nice. Perfect. So we're going to go back to something you said earlier, where you were talking about, long term, you see yourself becoming a coach one day. Yeah. What is your end goal as a football player? Like, what are you striving for?
I would say right now, because I know it could change at any moment. Right now, like I want to have a nice little career in the ELF. I can see myself, obviously, unless the XFL or USFL the UFL comes and calls. Like I'm still doing like the CFL workouts and stuff like that when I go home. But I wouldn't be opposed to having a nice little career here in Switzerland or in the ELF. Next year, my wife will be coming out here with me, so that'd be great. And just being the best I can. I already had I don't think I need to do any more. I just love football at this point. Like I had an amazing college career. Like I had an amazing high school career. Like football owes me nothing. I just do it just because I love it at this point. And I want to be a part of something like one of the first quarterbacks in the ELF, and obviously the first quarterback in the Switch franchise history. So build on that and hopefully be the best of all time. As for the next 150 years, the ELF is going to be around.
Like nice. That's something, yeah.
Like when they look back and they're like, Johnny Unitas was trash. Like, look who he was throwing to. I'm like, Carlton Aiken, what? This is 150 years ago. What the
heck? He was playing against plumbers, the whole like.
His center was a doctor.
There it is.
Do you guys have any other questions before I ask our last question?
Nah, the one bullshit question I had, I got to get away with it, so it was good to get to ask it.
That's true. Do you have anything else you need to say, or any questions in general, or anything you want to get off your chest before we ask our final question?
No. I'm good. I could sit here and talk forever, so I don't want to take up you guys' time.
We're fine on time. But all right. So then, final question: if you could bring one NFL player to the Mercenaries, who would it be and why?
One NFL player? Jeez. Oh, that's crazy. One NFL player. I'm gonna exclude like O-line. I won't say like, Lane Johnson or something like that. Like, that's my first thought. But it had to be like a skill player. Who's like the best receiver in the league right now?
I mean, it could be anybody. You could do defense too if you want.
I'm not taking a defense player. My defense
I'm trying to help me right now.
I can help me right now. My defense is good. Shout out to our defense. Held it down on Saturday. Jesus, I owe them like a dinner. But somebody who AB is going to be in the slot. Got my guy Milano in the slot. So nice outside receiver. I gotta go AJ Brown. I'm a huge Eagles fan.
AJ Brown, okay.
Oh, I forgot you were from Philly. Oh, boo.
Are you a Dallas fan? Jesus.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
What the heck are you guys doing? You got stuck.
I was thinking about the Mavericks earlier. What do you mean? Are you a Dallas fan? Of course I'm a Dallas fan.
Hey, listen, AB is a Dallas fan. He's from like the middle of nowhere, Texas. So I would go AJ Brown. Somebody could just like throw it up to him. He would, there's no corner in the league. Come on.
That's true. Yeah, he would walk over everyone.
Yeah, but I would throw him a hitch. He would truck everybody and go for it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you so much again, Carlton, for your time. Before we let you go, do you want to plug in your social media so then that way the listeners know where they can follow you at?
Yeah, you can follow me. ProForce, yeah. Follow me at ProForce. Follow me at C Aiken 2 on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. Really excited. I appreciate you guys having me on. Got Barcelona this week, so Jordan, we gotta get that. I gotta get that dub this week. You may hate me even more this week, so we'll see.
Oh man, now that we're like kind of friends now, I'm gonna be cussing even worse at the going on.
I'm gonna look at my phone at halftime. It's gonna be like text messages like, "What the are you doing?"
I'm gonna be like, "Really, bro? You couldn't have just taken the sack just then. You had to throw a tutty just then. Really?"
Shout out to my guys at Barcelona too. I can't wait to. That's one other thing I want to say. Like it was great just playing them first game, just because like one of my favorite football moments, like just talking to Chezzy after the game and Jordy, the Brunani brothers, some guys who were on that team last year, and they were just saying like how proud they were of me, just because the situation last year obviously was a tough situation, but just being able to show the league itself what I could do this year, because there was a lot of guys like, why Carlton Aiken, blah 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 blah, like, why'd you guys get this guy? And I was like, the tough situation I was in last year. But so cool. Obviously, I love those guys. We went to war last year. So it's, those brothers at the end of the day, football is just a sport. It's just a game. But, I made lifelong relationships with those guys over there from the top down. J-Rob, the owner, all the way down. So, can't wait to, battle, against those guys.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
We'll take you in our pick'em thing when he picks the Dragons, and we'll both pick. It's okay.
After last week, I don't know if I'm going to be picking the Dragons for really any games moving forward this season. Last week was rough. It was
rough. It was rough for us too. Trust me, it was rough for us too. So
there were a lot of rough games this week.
Yeah. Hey, Madrid though. I was one. Hey,
yeah, that was wild.
I personally, after half the roster left Barcelona and went to Madrid, and I seen like all their signings this offseason, I was like, yo, Madrid is going to be really good. Them in Paris, that's my two.
Paris is looking scary.
Yeah.
Some
playing Paris defense last year, and I got sacked like 8 times. I was like, yeah, these dudes are
they're legit.
Sadly, Helbig went down though.
Yeah, we'll see what's up with that. So we'll see should be like us in Madrid in the championship. We'll see. We're about to go.
All right.
Just turn around 12-2.
we're about to pull off 10 wins in a row. So
Do it.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate y'all for checking out this kind of bonus episode with our interview with Carlton Aiken Jr. So again, thanks so much. This has been Fourth Down Fiasco. You can rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's the best way for us to be able to grow the show. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Fourth Down Fiasco, or on Twitter at @4thdown_pod. So thanks y'all. Take care.